Joining us right now is the former senior advisor for innovation to Hillary Clinton during her time at the State Department and the author of the new book, The Industries of the Future, Alec Ross, joining us right now. Alec, congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Is the issue of Hillary Clinton's email coming up in your interviews?
Not yet. I think that for most people this is a settled issue. I mean, most of the working class and middle class Americans are really worried about their household finances, and you know, there hasn't been any fire that's come out of the smoke from the emails yet, so I think most of America's moved on, to be blunt.
What America are you talking to? Because
the America I'm from
in New Hampshire, I can tell you, people in New Hampshire, the things that they're saying,
Scott,
is they don't like her, they don't trust her.
The America I'm from in West Virginia.
If I could just ask the question, excuse me, that they don't like her, they don't trust her, that this email scandal is real, especially now when you have what's happening. Did you advise her, by the way, when you were there, did you advise her not to have a private server and not to do things the way she did if you were involved in her in that, in her team in that capacity?
I wasn't involved in it, sorry.
Oh, you said you were the innovation, you were the head of innovation.
Right.
While she was there.
Yeah, so the projects that I worked on were national security projects. So, for example, restoring communications into rebel-held territory during the revolution in Libya, or the anonymized, encrypted crime reporting program in northern Mexico that's taken down the leadership of a couple cartels. That's the kind of work I did, as opposed to...
Now, do you think that work is in those 22 emails? Do you think anything that you're talking about right there is in those 22 emails deemed top secret, and that's why they don't want to release them?
Nope.
You know,
so that it wasn't top secret?
My work, no.
See, here's a problem that counters what you say, and I'm going to the average American. And literally, you go across this country, for the first time in a presidential cycle, our security, our national security, our domestic security is a bigger issue. There's more awareness now than there ever has been with attacks in this country.
2004, after 9/11?
Yes, there's actually a bigger, right now, between 9/11 and now, there has been hundreds of % increase, tens of thousands of people being killed. It grows and it metastasizes till it becomes a bigger issue.
Well, it sounds like a good reason to elect Hillary Clinton president, because she's certainly the most competent and the sort of the grown-up out of this group.
I've spoken with Ambassador Arif Nayed, who's now the Libyan ambassador to the UAE, who came here and talked to me about the mistakes that were made in Libya, pre and post. So the American people don't buy it from the political class on both sides, frankly, who are telling them that their national security isn't as important. They are looking at their domestic security and the fact, do you feel safe? And if you don't feel safe, you want to know why. And that is the first time it's been that big an issue now.
Well, the more people focus on security, domestic security and international security, the better off Hillary Clinton's going to be. So.
How?
Because she's, look, I think she's trusted.
Tell me the how.
She's not trusted.
Can you tell me three specific accomplishments that Hillary Clinton has had that have benefited the American people in her work as Secretary of State?
Oh, of course. No, that's easy. And then I hope we can talk about my book, The Industries of the Future.
Tell me the accomplishments.
No, of course. I mean, so first of all, the restoration of respect for America abroad.
Tell me the accomplishments. That's the subjective. Tell me the actual accomplishments.
Well, I mean, anything that you can't put a number on is going to be...
Libya's broken down.
Yeah.
Were we better under Gaddafi?
You were more stable.
That region was better off, yeah.
You were more stable under Gaddafi.
Right, but to suggest...
Her missteps in Libya...
I've asked you a question you still can't answer.
You're dismissing the idea that those revolutions were actually propelled by people in the region. I mean, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton didn't sit together in the White House one day and say, oh, let's overthrow half a dozen governments. It's not the way it works, Scott, and you know better than that. I mean, you sound a little silly when you say it.
I love your patronizing tone, because you're clearly a Hillary Clinton supporter, but her missteps with Russia, her missteps with Syria, her missteps with Libya.
What's the misstep with Russia?
The reset.
The reset.
I mean, we were supposed to have this whole reset.
And then Putin was elected thereafter. We were doing under Medvedev, which is when she was Secretary of State.
Everybody knew Putin was running the country when Medvedev was there.
Well, and
it was Putin's
the Russian Constitution actually allowed him to do that.
Russia is Putin's country. And I got news for you. While Medvedev was there and under Hillary, things did not necessarily plummet to the degree to which they did after the election in 2012, around the time she was leaving, when Putin was elected. There was a brief period there where things were relatively stable. But I wouldn't pin it on the Secretary of State what our bilateral relationship with Russia is. I do think that there's a guy named Vladimir Putin who had something to do with it. And if the alternative is to snuggle up with Vladimir Putin, then
But that's not
then
what
we are, then we are on
no
a
one's
different,
saying
then we're
that
on
that's
a
the
different
alternative.
page.
I'm glad you're on the show. Alex, I'm glad you're on the show, and I want to talk about your budget. I want to ask you what the industries of the future are, but you have to, and I don't want you to feel like your back is up against the wall in this interview, because we are talking about the Hillary Clinton email scandal.
Yep.
But don't you think that having a private server and having all of this government business, many of which were top secret, according to her own State Department, makes the country vulnerable?
No.
It doesn't make the country.
Look,
how could you sit there and say this, Alex?
I'll tell you, because I've read what I've read so far. I haven't read those 22 emails, so I'll reserve judgment on those 22 that I haven't seen. What I have done is I've read a ton of what else is out there. I'm kind of like, all right, well, there's nothing here.
So let me understand this.
Well, that's why those top secret emails are a big deal. That's why they're a big deal.
Well, we'll see. I mean, look, this is a hypothetical based on a theoretical based on a maybe.
No, it's not hypothetical.
No.
The State Department has stated they cannot be released because they're that sensitive. Then you add special access programs. Were you read into TKSI? Did you ever fill out an SF-86?
I can't tell you what I was read into.
Did you ever get a briefing?
Maybe this is not an issue that's important to you.
But it matters
right?
to the American people.
This is not
I think it's important. No, I think